There are two main factors determining the price of a drone: the features and the quality of video and photos. Most of the featured DJI drones only relate to shooting smooth, seamless video. For example, the intelligent flight modes, the tracking capability, master shot and quick shots are not particularly useful for users focused on still images. Most drone reviews concentrate on footage quality, and we rarely see comparison of the different models in terms of still images. But many users are mostly interested in photography. So in this video I will compare the different models, taking into account only the feature relative to photography and only the quality of still images. There might be some interesting surprises in terms of value for money. Let's quickly look at the specs of the different models for photography. The Mini 3 and Mini 3 Pro have a 1/1.3 inch sensor, much bigger than the one of the Mini 2, a field of view equivalent to 24mm, and a very wide aperture of f1.7, with a photo resolution of 12 megapixels. Both models are able to rotate the camera to a vertical position to take photos in portrait mode. The Mini 3 offers a lot of extra functionalities which justify the difference in price, but most of them are only useful for video. The major difference between the two models when shooting photos is the absence of the 48 megapixel mode in the Mini 3. The basic model also lacks the hyperlapse functionalities, which are present in the Mini 3 Pro. The Air 2S has a bigger 1-inch sensor with a field of view equivalent to 22mm, an aperture of f2.8 and a photo resolution of 20 megapixels. The Mavic 3 and Mavic 3 Classic have a massive 1/3 of an inch sensor with a field of view equivalent to 24mm and a photo resolution of 20 megapixels, the same as the Air 2S. It is the only model with a variable aperture for f2.8 to f11, a useful feature in photography. The Mavic 3 is supplied with a dual lens system, including a telephoto lens with a field of view equivalent to 162mm. Another very appealing functionality for unusual IRL photos. The telephoto lens is not supplied with the Mavic 3 Classic. It is the only difference between the two models. You will find info about the prices of the different models analyzed in this video in the description below. Don't hesitate to hit the like button if you find this video interesting. Let's start this comparison with some top-down images, taking the sky out of the equation to concentrate on contrast and color rendition. In my opinion, the three models are surprisingly close in terms of detail, even in the deeply zoomed images. I cannot spot a big difference. There are some small variation in color rendition, but again, I cannot say that one model is better than the other. It is more a matter of personal preference. Let's move to some images containing the sky, to compare the dynamic range of the three models. The weather in the last couple of days was constantly changing from very cloudy and foggy to clear winter sun with plenty of visibility and color saturation. A good way to test the images of the three models in different conditions. You can download all the JPEG files of the image shown in this video in my blog, vicvideopic.com. You will find the link in the description below. The content of my website replicates what I do in this channel, but it is more text-based. It can be very useful when quickly searching for specific information. It also gives me the possibility to add goodies like downloadable files. Have a look at it and let me know what you think in the comment below. Let's start with the Mini 3. The camera of the Mini 3 is exactly the same as the one of the Mini 3 Pro. For photography, the only main difference is the 48 megapixel in the more expensive model. I will analyze it later on. The results obtained with the lightweight model are very impressive. In previous years, the difference in photo quality within DJI's prosumer line was immediately noticeable. It's not the case anymore. The quality of photos with the Mini 3 is really good, a huge step forward compared to the Mini 2. Color rendition is nice and the raw file respond quite well to editing, although obviously not as well as the two bigger models with higher resolution. The dynamic range is very good and the quality of the lens has improved a lot. Even in image shot against the sun, flare and chromatic aberration are well contained. The area where the Mini 3 really shines is low-light photography. Thanks to the very wide aperture of f1.7 and to some black magic, images shot at night are simply mesmerizing, with beautiful color rendition and not a hint of noise. The possibility to take still images in vertical format is a great addition for extra creativity. It is a big plus for users involved on social media platforms or to manually create vertical panoramas photos, which are great fun. Obviously, there is the advantage of the weight factor for more relaxed regulations and for portability. On the other hand, the wind resistance is not the same as the two bigger models, so I would not recommend it to users living in very windy areas. Due to the lower 12-megapixel resolution, there is less room for reframing and cropping, or for large prints, compared to the Air 2S and the Mavic 3. This is where the 48-megapixel mode should come into play. It is the main extra feature for photography in the Mini 3 Pro. With previous version of the firmware, the weak point of this drone was a lack of detail in elements in the background. The 48-megapixel mode in easy light condition is meant to partly improve things. But after a few updates, the detail of the 12-megapixel photos has clearly improved, and now I don't notice any major difference in detail compared to the 48-megapixel, even at very deep zoom levels. In most cases, I suggest purchasing the Mini 3 Pro over the Mini 3, in spite of the difference in price, due to the powerful extra features of this model. But the majority of these features apply only to footage. So, for users only interested in photography, the basic Mini 3 certainly is a very competitive offer. With only two major limitations compared to the Mini 3 Pro. There is no hyperlapse capabilities, and there are no obstacle sensors, so a lot of care is needed when flying. The Air 2S has always been a favorite of many, including myself, for both video and photo quality. The color rendition is sublime, the detail is excellent. Compared to the Mini 3, the dynamic range is slightly more extended, the file responds a bit better to color grading, and there is plenty of room for reframing, cropping or for large print, due to the much higher photo resolution of 20 megapixels. The wind resistance is much higher, making it a better choice for users living in windy areas. The only issue with this model is that it is the oldest of the three, and in the meantime the competition has improved dramatically. For still images, the Mini 3 is on the market at approximately half the price, and it is so good that it's not easy to justify the price difference for users shooting photos for social media. On the other hand, professional and semi-professional users might be attracted by the Mavic 3 Classic, which offers several important and useful extra features at a price point that is not too far away. The quality of the Mavic 3 and 3 Classic is very similar to the one of the Air 2S, but just a touch better. It offers a very wide latitude in post-processing to easily get any possible shade of color. Thanks to the bigger 4/3 of an inch sensor, the dynamic range is a bit wider. Hasselblad has put a big effort into the lens, and the behavior against the sun is excellent. The difference in photo quality compared to the Air 2S is not major, but this model has some features that make life much easier for photographers. The variable aperture is very handy for optimizing exposure without the need of constantly swap ND filters. The omnidirectional obstacle sensors can save the life of the drone on many occasions. The much longer battery life is another welcome addition for a more relaxed flying experience. The only difference between the Mavic 3 and the 3 Classic is the dual lens system for the more expensive model. The very long telephoto lens is very handy for reaching a target too far away or avoiding disturbing wildlife. It also offered different perspectives for a very interesting parallax effect. The downside is that the quality is much lower than the one of the wide-angle lens, so it is not everyone's cup of tea. DJI has always been very good in marketing and in positioning its models at price points that tend to users to go for the more expensive one. The price structure of the DJI prosumer line makes perfect sense. What is impressive is how much the quality has increased recently, especially at the lower end. Click on this link to watch the comparison of the three models for hyperlapses. I will also add a link to the comparison of the same models for video quality, which I will publish next week. And don't forget to hit the like button if you find this video interesting. Thank you.